Hello and welcome to the video. This is one of the very last videos that will fit into 2017, but it's one that an awful lot of people have asked about. And I recently did videos on both the ZOHD Nano Talon and also the ZOHD Dart as well. And the common question has been, which is better? Which would you fly? And it's a really interesting question because these have very similar properties, but I'd recommend them for slightly different applications. So in this video, I'm going to try and give a slightly more lengthy, verbose answer to the short and sweet answers that I've been trying to give to people over the last couple of weeks since the Dart video came out. So if you haven't already watched those videos, I'll put links here in the video that you can click on to watch the entire reviews. Now it needs to be said at the very top of the video that both of these planes are actually very, very good. They're both very capable models. They both fly really well. The stabilizer works good. You can get these things flying in about 20 minutes, half an hour. The majority of that time will be setting up your transmitter and binding it and getting it ready to fly. Both of them are the same. They snap together with magnets. You don't have to glue anything together, so they can come apart and they're easily transportable. But the big difference comes in that one of them is a small plane and the other one, even though it's got those little vertical stabilizers on it, is really a flying wing. So let me pop my comments and thoughts onto a little slide just to kind of summarize everything. So the Nano Talon I think is best if you're looking for something with a little bit more battery space. That big opening underneath the main wings means that you can, if you really want to, get some blooming big batteries inside this. It's a very efficient flyer. It'll cruise on 3.5, 4.5 amps. So even an 850 milliamp hour battery will still give you a reasonable flight time. I know people have been putting all kinds of things here, 2200s, even 3000 milliamp hour batteries, and for those really heavy batteries, the only way you're going to get your centre of gravity anywhere near is actually put the battery in the opening that's underneath the main wings rather than in the nose. Because as you remember, if you saw the Nano Talon review, that was one of the little things I noticed. The centre of gravity needed to be a little bit behind where it was marked on the wings in order for you not to need an awful lot of elevator to keep that nose up. That additional room inside the plane comes in very handy if you wanted to add a flight controller too. I think the Nano Talon is a better platform for something that you maybe want to put a micro vector in it or something like a iNav powered flight controller. The Nano Talon would be the one I'd be interested in. I like the fact it's got prop protection. The prop is that different one that has a self-tightening nut thing on it. I'm not a massive fan of that, but the fact it has a very big vertical fin at the back of the plane that protects the prop when you come down has been working fantastically well. So touch wood, that prop is still going well. I do feel that because of the wing being at the top of the body and most of the weight being below that wing area, I think it's a slightly more stable plane. Both of these models are relatively lightweight and quite small, so they are affected by wind. They get blown around a little bit, so you will find there's a little bit of a wobble, but I find that because the Nano Talon has that weight underneath, it's a little bit better. The Nano Talon also comes with that little clip at the front of the nose that will also support an action camera. That's a nice touch, but again, putting a camera on the front means that you have to work a lot harder to get the center of gravity right, but it's nice to have that there, and that's one that's been designed with an action camera mount from the off. And I think it's a better beginner support model. I found that in the launch beginner mode, it flew like a very well behaved trainer plane. It was a little bit docile for me in terms of the reaction and the maximum angles that you could get. But if you were teaching somebody to fly, it's not terrible. I think if you were looking specifically for a plane that you were going to learn on, then I'd personally recommend something like a Bixler 2 or one of those style of planes, something like a Skywalker. They are much more forgiving and they are very stable even without the stabilizer on board. Then let's talk about the Dart. The Dart, I think, is for those who like wing flying. It behaves and flies very much like a wing. The beginner mode doesn't seem to work as well. It seems to really dampen down the control authority, and it's great for getting it launched into the air so you can pop your FPV goggles down while it's climbing away, and as soon as you've got any height at all, flick it into the 3-axis stabilization mode. So the Dart for me is if you already fly wings and you like wings, so you've got a Texumo or Bonsai or something like that, and you want an FPV craft, then the Dart would be the one for me. Now, I'm actually a wing guy. I have lots and lots of planes, but I also have lots of wings as well. I have about 3 or 4 Texumos and a couple of other wings, some Bonsais and some others too. And I really like wings. They're small, lightweight, agile, they're highly versatile, but they can be a lot twitchier, so you need to be careful about your throws and use decent amount of expo to control it. But if you've come from that kind of background, then the Dart is going to feel very, very comfortable for you, even with the 3-axis stabilisation turned on. There are less slop in the linkages in the Dart as well. I find that both of them are very nice. You do get a little bit of wobble in the FPV footage, but in the Nano Talon, I'm not sure how much of that is coming from the fact that we have other separate connections from the servos inside the plane, the body, out through those very clever linkages out into the arms, where the Dart is a very more conventional style, where the servos are directly connected by one standard linkage to the control surfaces at the back of each of the wings. I do like the fact the Dart has that forward swept wing as well. The stall characteristics, even if you turn the stabilisation off completely, that's not something I'd recommend unless you're very comfortable with small, agile 600mm wings. But if you do, then it behaves beautifully, very fast and agile, and also the tip stalling characteristics are brilliant because of that wing shape. So in summary, I would say both of these are great choices if you have a bit of spare cash after Christmas and you're looking to get yourself an FPV setup. If you're not experienced with planes, I'd probably start off with the Nano Talon. I think it's a slightly more forgiving flyer and the beginner mode works better. If you've had a little bit more experience with planes or you like wings, then the Dart for me is the one to have a look at. Thank you for taking the time to watch that video, and particularly for watching right to the very end. We try and release a video on Tuesday and Friday, and sometimes we'll release 1 or 2 extra ones in a week as well. All of the videos on the channel are organised into easy to use playlists, so do have a look in there, because if you're interested in a subject, we organise all the videos on that subject so you can find them easily all together in one place. If you like what we're doing, then please like and subscribe and tell others about the channel so they can come and join as well. We're available in all of the usual social media places, particularly in places like Instagram, Twitter, and we also share all of our 3D designs on Thingiverse.